Welcome everybody to Generations with Edwin and Ray. I just wanted to kind of introduce ourselves to you, our listeners, our viewers, and learn a little bit what we're doing here is Edwin's 10, I'm 50, and there's just a lot of conversation topics that I think folks that are of the older and younger generation like to share. And I think we just would like to have a conversation with each other, show it off to you guys, and maybe at the end, and when you're looking forward to the next time we do this, make some suggestions on what you'd like to hear us talk about. Just kind of whatever's on our brains at the moment, and we'll see what happens. So welcome, Edwin. Thank you for coming, and welcome to our new show.
Thank you for having me. Well,
Well,
I
now
guess yeah, I guess I'm a host. So like,
you are. Yep, we're
not
co-hosting
really
a
thank you
brand
for
new show
having
here.
me. Thank you for doing this with me.
I'm more
Very,
than happy to. Now,
very.
first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. I'll kind of tell folks a little bit about what I do as well.
Uh, well, I'm not at the moment doing a lot of things interesting, except for no being part of a podcast. Because I do Hub, which if nobody knows what that is like school learning, like not school learning, home learning, um, on computers and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So and my teacher like 45 minutes. That's how long the classes are.
Excellent.
So I have a lot of free time on my hands. So because there's nothing like really to fill that free time, I just kind of sit around.
Okay. But perfect. Well, just to give a little bit of information about me, I'm the 50-year-old. If people couldn't quite figure that out from listening or watching, but I basically I do a little bit of podcasting myself, some theater, and as far as work goes, I get on the telephone and try to sell people advertising. So that's generally what I do with my whole days. So I think we're just kind of ready to kind of throw questions at each other and answer them ourselves, as well as just find out what each other has opinions and thoughts on when it comes to these various questions. So, Edwin, if you're cool with it, I'll go ahead and start with the first question and see what you have as far as the response goes.
Very well.
If you had one type of food that you could only eat that one type of food, that was the only thing you were allowed to eat, do you know what that would be?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Right on that. Good.
and there's two factors. I know that the answer is going to be sushi.
Uh-huh.
Um, but just to get your take on it, do you think sushi is healthy or is it like, because it's got like seaweed is dried out. So I guess I'm not sure how the whole process thing works. So
Hmm.
I'm not sure about that. But from my understanding, um, it's all healthy. Is that your take on it, or is it?
It is in moderation, I think. Me, I'm not big on moderation, and as a result, my belly's a little too big. But when it comes to the type of food that sushi is, I think from what I can tell, it's relatively good for you if you don't overindulge in it. There are a couple of small dangers, especially if you do go with the live, or not the live, but the uncooked fish, especially since there is a lot of mercury, and that could lead
Uh,
to some
I'm
poisoning in you. But as long as you don't have too much of it, I think it's fine.
I'm not completely sure, but I'm pretty sure I heard something about like a year or two ago. I heard something about like how they can like inbreed fish so that they have less mercury in them.
Really, I hadn't heard that. That'd be really
I'm
good.
not sure if that's true, but I use it against my mom, so like it's definitely true.
Hmm.
For the sake of me, it's true. I'm
Okay.
not. It might not be, but still.
Well, if it's going to be your favorite food, it better be true, right?
Well, yeah. But the thing is, I've eaten sushi a lot,
Mhm.
and like I've never gotten food poisoning from it, or whatever mercury does to you. I'm not
Right.
sure, but like it's. I've gone to like 5 restaurants. One, I just go to one. There's this one, and it's really good.
Mhm.
And I just keep on going there because like it's very good and it's cheap and like all of the things add up. It's very good. Now I'm gonna ask you the same question, but can I modify it?
Sure.
All right. So my question is, you can eat 3 things, all like 3 things forever. Just these 3 things.
Mhm.
All the other stuff is like basically invisible. And if you go out to buy it, it's completely free.
Oh.
What are these 3 things?
Well, the first thing I'm going to answer is gumbo. I don't know if you've had any kind of Cajun food or anything, but I am a huge fan of gumbo because it's got a ton of different flavors in it. It fills you up pretty good, and it's just tasty. I have a variety of different. Uh, I have a variety of different things that I like when it comes to Cajun food, but that's kind of the all-purpose utilitarian version of anything that kind of sums up what is great about Cajun food. So I would go with a gumbo that has a good seafood component to it. There's a lot of chicken gumbos that are good, but throw some shrimp in there as well, make it really good. Second thing that I would probably want to get if it were free and I could have only it, I'm going to go with sushi too. There's a wide variety once again of different tastes, different textures, and so sushi just it just makes sense to me because like we had talked about, it's somewhat healthy too. Gumbo is probably not as healthy as sushi, so but I truly enjoy it.
Before you go on to your third thing,
Mhm.
I'm not sure I know what gumbo is.
Oh, okay. It is a kind of a seafood. Well, it's kind of a soup and stew that the word gumbo itself is comes from a very Cajun phrase of that means okra, which is a type of vegetable that goes in gumbo. But basically, what it is when somebody makes a gumbo, what they do is they take a little oil and a little flour and they heat it up and make a little sauce called a roux, and then they start adding other things to it, which include rice, include various vegetables, various meats like chicken and seafood. And basically, it's just a really thick, hearty soup or stew. And it's got, they add a little bit of spice to it, so it's a little spicy as well. And I'm trying to think of something that you might have had that kind of to compare it to. It's I want to say it's closest in texture to chili, but it's not. It does not have the same flavor as chili at all.
Okay, so now what I'm imagining is kind of like um what I think you're saying.
Mhm.
Basically shrimp and like or beef or like other things with like a vegetable or two in there, like basically taken out of a soup, and then they pour dressing on it. Am I correct?
Well, the soup itself is kind of like the dressing. It gets poured over rice, and with gumbo, it's a little bit watery, so it comes out like a soup. But there are plenty of Cajun dishes that are described pretty much like what you had just said. Which one of my favorites is an etouffee, which is very creamy gravy that goes on top of rice, and it has seafood in it. So it's pretty similar in that regard, but it's really winds up being more of a kind of a soup stock, the kind of thing you pour in a bowl to eat out of instead of on top of a plate. Now, my third thing, I'm going to have to go with a dessert of some kind, and my go-to dessert, for some reason, has always been banana pudding. I know. It's just the taste of it is like different from anything that I could normally get elsewhere. It's got a fun texture to it, especially if you throw in vanilla wafers to give it a little bit of a crunch or a little bit of a grainy feel to it. But a good banana pudding, I'll eat all day of the week and twice on Sundays.
Well, I kind of, I think if I were to be asked the same question, I wouldn't go for pudding. But now that you mentioned it, yeah, I think I might. Like, if I think about it, I might take it, but like, because my favorite dessert is lemon meringue pie, and I
Yeah.
like puddings like that. So I'm just like, if I were put with the option, small portable or original and delicious, non-portable.
Hmm.
Hmm, what's my answer?
You got a third thing? Sushi and lemon meringue pie, and what else?
Uh, I think, yeah, I can't live without this milk.
Milk. I get
Something to
that.
wash it all down, cold. Don't know why I like it, but I like it.
I like that. Have you had any of the like ones that kind of have like a different flavor to them? There's some vanilla based milks out there and almond based.
I've only had, oh yeah, I've had like dairy free,
Hmm.
but that's because pre, can we say that word? Like um, like, can we say that word?
Should be able to. I would think so.
Okay. Uh, please don't take offense to this, anybody. But pre COVID-19, I did spend a lot of time at my cousin's because it was so, or sorry, pre like last year
Hmm.
when it was still okay to see people. I did that in COVID. Um, and I did drink a lot of almond milk there because she's dairy free, and like that and chocolate milk. Almond, sorry, dairy free almond milk and chocolate milk. Those are the three things that I've had.
Okay. Did you have a preference of all those?
Chocolate.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is milk. If I were to choose chocolate milk, that was because it's like a special treat. But if it were to be like, is your main liquid to drink milk or chocolate milk? I'm sorry, chocolate milk, but like, I think milk is better in the long term, but if I were to be like for just a week, chocolate milk's my go-to.
Gotcha. Okay.
Probably because I've never really had too much of it. Like, I've had a couple glasses, but not too much at one time.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, I think we answered that one pretty well. I think it's your turn to ask a question for the two of us to delve into.
Ooh, should hmm. This is not my question, but it is a question for you and me to both answer together. Should I do a movie related one?
Oh, sure, why not?
Okay. Question. Do you want to do Star Wars, Jurassic Park, or like Marvel?
I probably know the most about Marvel. So let's start out with Marvel and see what kind of questions you got.
All right. If anybody has been living under a rock for the past like 20 years, I think, Marvel's just it started off as a comic book created by Stanley.
Mhm.
Um, and it just blasted off after the first Iron Man movie, and they've made 19 movies in
Yeah,
the past 10 years. Probably could have made like 23, but like COVID.
yeah,
So they postponed Black Widow, they postponed all of these things. It's not the best. Pretty soon we're getting WandaVision.
that's true. In a week or so, I think.
Yeah, the 14th.
Oh
Um,
yeah, very quick.
yeah, so that's like this, it's this big cinematic universe of just superheroes. Some don't even have superpowers. None in the comics they did.
Hmm.
But either way, it's basic. I think it's tied with Star Wars because I don't want to. I don't want to be. I don't want to be getting hated. I think it's tied with Star Wars. Probably because there's not a lot of new movies in both of the franchises, so I can't be like, oh, that new movie made the entire franchise better. I'm really excited for uh, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that should be fun.
They should have renamed it to be Captain America and or maybe Falcon and White Wolf, because I think that's his name when he's not brainwashed.
Yeah, I think you're right. When he was basically recovering in Wakanda.
Yeah, and when he got his new arm. So
Yeah.
like, that's some info that they never shared with us. It just happened.
Hmm.
Um, but I think the question would be, would you rather, for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, be Captain America or Thor?
Oh, choose between being one of those two. Hmm. Well, I would probably go more with being Captain America. He's kind of more along the lines of when it comes to fighting style. He has a shield, he has a defensive weapon instead of an offensive weapon like Thor does, and that kind of mirrors what I probably would do in real life a little bit more. I would be somebody that I would want to have something to protect people with. If my friends were being attacked, I'd want them behind me, and having a shield to protect them would be more of
Well,
my fighting
that's when
style.
you have the blue syrup in your body.
That's true. I would have that, but from the looks of things, it did pretty well for him. It made him live quite a while. It made him a
Oh,
lot
well, that was
stronger.
the ice. That was the ice.
There was, yeah, that being frozen for a long time was probably not the most fun
I
thing.
mean, he could have survived, but he would still be Old Man Steve. Like,
Yeah,
spoiler for Endgame.
But to be fair, I am an old man too, so so it's not unusual for me. But I think Thor, I think he's pretty old too. He
Uh,
looks so young.
yeah, no, because he is technically a god.
Mhm.
A god. In the comics, he was a god, but in the movies, just so he's not like hi die like he can just obliterate everything within a couple seconds. They made him less of a god, so now he's just kind of like some dude with a really strong axe
Yeah,
and lightning powers.
yeah.
Also, he's fat, so that's
Yeah.
that's a superpower.
Yeah, if being fat's a superpower, then you're talking to a superhero right now.
Yep, everybody in the world, I think, is a superhero. That means.
Yep. Everybody's just got to find out what their power is, right?
Yep.
I think that's fair. Who would you be of the two?
Yeah. I thought you might take Thor just because he's like pretty strong.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would take Captain America too.
Yeah, okay.
When I was thinking, I knew my favorite superhero in the movies so far has been Captain America. And I was thinking like Captain America versus who? And then I thought of that iconic scene where it's like, stop fighting, shield up. Like just like these trees are just like, what's
Yeah.
his power? Um but yeah, so that's why I got the idea.
Okay. I like that. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll ask a question now for both of us to kind of go take our crack at. With you first on this one. If you could be any kind of animal, even whether it's for a day or for a week or whatever time period, you could change into that type of animal. What animal would you want to be?
Question. Are
Yeah.
we including mythicals?
Yeah, let's include mythicals too.
All right. All right. Ooh. So now I'm just debating would it All right. So I would have to take oh no, now I'm stuck. An
Oh, you
ankylosaurus.
an ankylosaurus, like a dinosaur, right?
Yeah, so it's a dinosaur that's kind of like I guess you could call it like it's kind of like lower. It's about my height from the ground. And it's really like it's kind of like a turtle, except for it has kind of spikes on its back, and
Yeah.
its tail is a bit longer. It is a bit faster. It's a herbivore, and it's got a giant hammer tail. It's like my head is just like die.
Yeah, anything comes near it, it just bonks it up upside the head with its tail, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's
It's
like, get away from
actually
me.
yeah. It's killed its predators before.
Oh yeah.
It's not something most prey would do. Well, some
I
do.
like that.
I think if we were going into like extended, last year I created a project. We had a project of like um of doing like taking two or three animals for wherever we want just mashing them.
Oh, okay.
And so I created this something called a protective gold wolf. So it's got like the shell of the ankylosaurus
Hmm.
on a wolf's body with also the tail, and it's got golden eagle wings. So it can fly, it can hit, it can protect, it can hunt, it can. That's what I was debating. Like, does that count? I ultimately said no. No, 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 no.
That makes sense. I like the idea of the animal too, because it sounds like something you'd want to ride into a battle too. You on top of that with a shield on one arm and a giant sword on the other, and I think everybody'd be scared to death of that.
Well, the problem is the ankylosaurus actually weighed 3,000 tons. So like, just like 70 more pounds is just like me off of it. Me on it.
I like that. That's hilarious.
That's how I imagine it.
Well, if I were to pick one, I would probably lean towards a dog. Just not really fancy type of anything, but I'm just a big fan of dogs. I've got one myself, and the great thing about a dog is that you know pretty much what's going on with them. They are not afraid to tell you if they're happy or they're sad, if they're hungry, if they need to go out. And for the
Yeah,
most part, most of the dogs I've seen, they find really good friends in their humans or other dogs, and they all bond pretty well. It just seems like a fun existence to me, unless it's just a
yeah.
really hard existence for a dog elsewhere, like a in a shelter or something.
I I was gonna choose before I thought extinct animals. I was gonna choose a wolf
Hmm.
just because you're never lonely.
Yeah,
Like you're just telling you like you're never lonely, you're never this, you're never that,
you
you're
got your pack with you.
you're actually close to the top of the food chain.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that might be fun. But I think cats really let out their emotions through sassiness. Like
They do, don't they? Oh man, they let
this
you know.
is this is their sad face. This is their happy face. This is their mad face. Like, and then this is their sassy face.
And that's when they amp it up. You're right.
Um, if we do just decide to do audio only, what I did was I was just like blank, 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 blank. Sassy. I am sassy.
You put the crazy eyes on for the sassy face.
Hopefully, we don't do just audio. Video is gonna be very fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I tell you what, it's your turn to ask a question. Let's see what you got.
All right, so I'm gonna do another Marvel one.
Yeah,
Is that okay? All right.
absolutely.
So how nerdy are you?
I'm
In
pretty nerdy.
all
I
right.
must say, when it comes to Marvel, I'm very nerdy.
Are you aware of the Miles Morales PS5 game?
Not the game. I haven't gotten into any of the games. I know Miles. I did watch Into the Spider-Verse, and
I think everybody did.
yeah, yeah, that's a fun one.
If you
So.
didn't, you're under arrest. Please, please. Just I just hope everybody in the world has watched it.
I know it's a very popular one, so I think a lot of folks did.
Yeah. So there. So the question, is it okay if I maybe or may not spoil this for you?
You can spoil it for me.
All
I
right.
probably look up the
So
spoilers
anybody
anyway.
who
So
doesn't want to know the ending of Spider-Man PS5 Miles Morales, just la 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 la.
skip ahead 5 minutes.
Pause the podcast. Go forward into after we've talked about this. After I've talked to you about this. So, um, after like, so in the movie, sorry, in the game, basically the whole game is about like, oh yeah, they're just like the first game, two parties, both battling, both want one wants to destroy, one wants to help, but ultimately is going to destroy. Like that's kind of the thing, and then Spider-Man in between, trying to stop them both. Um, so one of those two, it's basically an all-out gang wars. One of those two, he is called um is called Roxxon place, I
Yeah,
believe. Like, because that's the
Roxxon.
boss
They're kind of like a competitor to Tony Stark, Stark Industries.
in the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so they have developed something along with somebody else who died because of it, and his sister is the leader of the other group. So she's like, die, 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 to him, and he's just like, this thing, this thing will power all of Harlem for 500 years. There's like little canister. Basically, imagine a can of SpaghettiOs. That's basically how small the thing is, and just one canister of clean energy for 500 years. And so they actually discovered that it will obliterate Harlem if he activates it. So there's like this final fight, and then finally he like absorbs all of that energy for 500 years. It could, like, that's a lot of energy. And then he blows it all out, and if it wasn't fictional, he would kill 4 million people, and he absorbs all that. So just keep that in mind for a power
Okay.
set. Like, that's, he could go up against Thor, and he
Yeah.
might win. Like, that's how powerful in the comics. Thor from the comics is. And then there's, do you know who Civil Warrior is?
I do not.
All right, so it's the version that in an alternate dimension, Tony dies from Steve, and Steve's just like a reactor, put it in the middle of the shield so he can be like pew 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 pew. And he adds like all this fancy tech to him because he's smart. What it enhanced him to be. So like that's a whole thing. So he can shoot powerful blasts out of his shield, which he can also block things with. And he's got like enhanced agility and stuff like that, or Miles Morales from the video game. Okay. What do you think? That took a long time to explain all of that. Longer than it should have.
Okay. But you got it all out. That's good.
Yeah. It didn't. It doesn't say how long the conference is, but like I think that might have taken like 15 minutes.
I don't think it was that long. That's like 5.
Maybe 5. Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
Longer than it should have. So like if anybody accidentally skipped like into the middle of the conversation, like sorry. So
Uh,
who would you rather be? Because these are my two favorite superheroes
mhm.
in the extended universe.
Let's see. Oh, so which two were they again? That you had the Civil
Civil War,
Warrior.
who he can like pew 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 out of his shield, and
Hmm.
then Miles Morales, who absorbed literally 500 years of Harlem's energy.
I'm going to go with Miles on that one because um, I think it probably sounds like somewhat of a more selfless act, and plus plus making becoming more powerful from helping other folks is kind of like a way that I would want to go
Yeah.
about things.
The personalities are I'm a neighborhood Spider-Man and prevent what happened to me to all others,
Yeah,
all other universes. That's why he plays into the main universe in the comic.
gotcha. Yeah, I would go with that because that just number one, that sounds like more of a heroic type of role that one would play in the world.
Oh no,
And
I'm just talking about like you have their power set. You
oh,
still
their
have
power set.
like you're not living through their story, and you're
Ah, okay.
oh yeah, I am Civil Warrior. No, 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 no. You kind of are,
Hmm.
but you're in the mindset of yourself.
Okay. I
So
probably
like
still go with Miles then,
yeah,
because really, with that kind of power, what could you not do? You pretty much
well
you would
yeah,
have the ability to pretty much do anything that you wanted, even
well
if you didn't want to do anything.
yeah. The problem with this is he does that, but because it's a video game, thugs still like exist. I don't know how they're not all like, how did he?
Hey, how do they not take one look at him and run the other way?
Yeah,
That might be another benefit to having his power is that you don't have to get in fights.
especially because he can like electrocute,
Yep.
electrocute, electrocute.
It's like you annoy me, zap. That sounds like my alley for sure.
Well, the only problem, the problem with that, like the whole absorb output, and then he blasts them out to like open doors and or like he's basically a walking talking battery
Yeah.
or a walking talking like absorber for the energy, and so he absorbed all of that energy and then he blew it out. So like that's why it would kill 4 million people.
Ah, I gotcha.
Blew it all out. Like
Well, I would try my best to not harm anybody, because with great power comes great responsibility, as is often said in the Spider-Man world. But I think I would still go with that because yeah, I think the power to do pretty much anything, kind of makes me happy. I would go that route.
yeah, I think I would too.
Hmm.
Um, just because Civil Warrior's power set is like super strength, super like agility, and his story is really boring. Like I like him as a character,
Hmm.
but just his overall story, it's not the most interesting. It's like don't kill each other, okay? Bye. Like that's basically all he's doing. He's hopping around for like 5,000 universes and he's just like don't kill each other, please. Just all right, bye.
Can't we all play nice?
Yeah. Nice. Don't kill each other. All right, all right. Okay, I got it. My job's done here. Peace.
And I think that's a good place for us to end this first episode. I think we both got some good questions out there to have some fun with. And I think it was a good first go around here. So I'm going to throw out a challenge to anybody that is watching, listening to this episode of Generations. Please throw some comments down on questions that you'd like somebody that is 10 years old and somebody that is 50 years old to have a conversation about. As you can see, we will run the gambit with anything. We'll talk about just about anything, and as long as we can have some fun with it and entertain you all with it. So, Edwin, give us your final thoughts on this program.
Also, please give a review because that would also help us.
It would indeed. Yeah, some thumbs up, some reviews, some sharing, so folks can find out more about this show and each of us. And the more that gets out there, the more questions that get thrown our way, the more classic episodes we're going to create for you. So
that does remind me. Talk to you after the show about that.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about some other things like
we got to do our post-show wrap up because that's how we take care of business. So, ladies and gentlemen watching and enjoying the show, this has been Generations with Edwin and Ray. And we hope that you enjoyed yourself. Throw some suggestions our way, and we will see you again next time.
I can do this all day. There is a little problem. I do tend to drift off. Like, I could be talking about Star Wars, and my mind just goes to like, that looks like a tasty apple. Apples, apples, apples. And then on the outside, it's apples. I just blank out for no apparent reason. I just like, what was I saying? What were you talking about?
Well, I'll do my best to steer us back to the topic. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the problem is my mom never made it easy because she has the same problems. So there's no making it easy. Have you watched season 2 of The Mandalorian?
I have.
Have you finished it?
I have.
Okay, good.
You didn't want to spoil it for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, it's like, yeah, Chris Evans is taking over because he died as Captain America, and he's like, like that's basically what it was. Like everyone was just like,